I'm Melius Weideman from Cape Town, South Africa. As part of this video series on website visibility, I'd like to speak to you about meta tags. Meta tags are simply pieces of text which are put into a web page. Although they are optional, in other words, your web page will function equally well without them, they are important to satisfy the needs of the two important audiences, namely the human user and the search engine crawler. Firstly, we can look at the way that humans see these meta tags. On the next slide, you'll see some typical search engine results. There's two of them, the way it appears on the screen. And with the blue highlighting, I've indicated where the title tag, which is one of the meta tags we discuss now, will appear. It appears right at the top of the search result. In this case, there's two of them. And obviously, that's the first thing the user will see and try and read. Secondly, I've used the pink purple type highlighting to indicate where the description meta tag will appear, also in the same results. In this case, it's the bottom part where the title tag is at the top, description is at the bottom. And in this case, again, it's a bit longer than the title tag. It could be 2 or 3 lines. And ideally, it should be written text that makes sense and that tells the user what's about to follow in terms of the content of that specific website. Next, I'd like to look at the way the crawler sees the tags, which is quite a bit different from the way the human experiences them. On the slide, you can see a title tag, the first one. Actually, it's not a meta tag, it's a normal HTML tag, but it's called a title tag. The second one further down is the description meta tag, and at the bottom is a keyword meta tag example. All three are examples taken from actual websites. Then highlighted in blue is the content of the title tag. In this case, it says Hetzner-trusted in hosting. So that is the text that somebody has put in on that web page, and the crawler will read it like this. So the title, the two words title in brackets on both sides, tells the crawler that this is the title tag, and exactly what it says there will appear at the top of the screen when that page is being viewed. Secondly, then the yellow highlighting indicates the contents of the description meta tag, which in this case looks like it's a bit longer than the title tag, and it is. It's about a full sentence, 1.5 sentences maybe. And then the red highlighting indicates the contents of the keyword meta tag. We'll discuss the title and the description meta tag next. The keyword tag is actually fallen into disuse because of abuse initially by unscrupulous website designers who use that to give certain keywords a large exposure which were undeserved. So we'll discuss only the first two next. You might ask the question at this stage, how do I know if a certain web page has meta tags, and if it has them, what do they look like? There are at least two ways of finding out. Assuming that you've got the website on the screen in front of you, you can simply press Control, hold it down, and U, and the code will appear on the screen. Or alternatively, if you go to any unused area on the screen and right-click on it, and then say View Source Code, it'll also show you the contents of the web page in code format. Now, initially, this coding way of displaying the web page might be rather daunting. Some web pages are fairly short, maybe less than a screen full of code. Others are very long. But if you're looking for the meta tags, they're normally close to the beginning. So you can either scroll down by eye and until you find the title in brackets, the angle brackets, and the second title with a / in front, and the same for the description and keyword tags. Alternatively, you can just search for them. You simply say Control F for find, and you type in the word title or the word description, and then you search until you find it, just to realize that there could be other words, normal words, part of the text also being title or keyword, depending on the content. But normally it's close to the top, so it's easy to find. Let's start with a bit more detail on the title tag. Definition: maybe a title tag is a simple, typically one sentence description of the content of the web page. Now, it's optional, so it might not be there, and it might be there, but it might be badly written. So we'll get to some good and bad examples. But it's basically the onus rests on the website designer or the owner to ensure that there are good title and description tags written as we've seen, so as to please both the human and the crawler audience. In the green highlighting, you can see some examples of what I consider to be good examples of title tags. The green highlighting is now an indication of the keywords, where again, as with content as well, which is discussed in another video, one has to write these tags so they are full of descriptive keywords, preferably towards the beginning of the tag. And in this case, there's a number of keywords which are debatable. It's a subjective issue. One person might think a certain word is a keyword, another one might not. But a keyword in general is a word that has strong relation to the content of the website. It has a very specific meaning. And the opposite of keywords are stop words, which are overused, and common words like the and that and I and so forth. The second example also, it starts with a brand name, and there are, in the green highlighting, some rather strange words which is not part of everyday language. Therefore, they are good and descriptive, because for the right audience, they'll immediately tell them what the website is all about. Then there's also some bad examples. Unfortunately, there are unfortunately sometimes more bad examples than good ones. The first one has just got the two title tags with nothing in between, which means there is no title tag content. The tags are there, but there's no content, because nobody bothered to put it in. And it's amazing how many web pages one finds with that sort of situation. Secondly, there's the very familiar and infamous home page, just the word home page, which tries to say, look, this is a home page of my website, which is a rather superfluous thing to do. Or something like, welcome to my company XYZ, or welcome to my home page, which are non-descriptive, rather senseless pieces of text to put in an important place like this. Another example, this is the home page of company so-and-so. Maybe the name of the company is useful, but for the rest it doesn't mean anything really. Even the last example, taken from a weather site, Weather SA, My Town, Cape Town. Now, My Town is written as one word. It means something to the designers of the website and anybody who uses the website often, but it's not a normal English word. So a crawler will not make any sense of a word like My Town. It's not a standard word. So it's a bit better, but it still not really doesn't make the grade in terms of a well-written title tag. Now we can look at the description meta tag, what it's about and how it should be written. The definition is simply that it's an extension of the title tag, in the sense that it's a bit longer, so it should be more descriptive, and it appears also as part of a search result, which makes it very important to describe it fully. By the way, if a site has no title or description meta tag, not only is it a lost opportunity to market your site, but the crawler will take in place of that whatever it finds as text on the web page. So you might find your menus appearing, something like contact us, catalog, products or whatever, appearing on top of the search results, which is not a very nice way to lead people to want to come to your website. So again, your description meta tag should be well written with lots of keywords. At the end, we look at the lengths, in how long it should be, what a proposed length is. Further in the examples, in the good examples, once again with green highlighting, I've highlighted the keywords. The first one, for example, has the company's name in there, I think twice. It's got a year in there, year figure, and it's got a few other words which are very descriptive of the company. So it's not a perfect example, but it's, I consider, a good example of a meta tag, description meta tag that's been well written. The second one at the bottom, also with the green highlighting, again has a number of strange words. Mangosuthu, for example, which is the name of a university, which is a rather not a common English word, and therefore it's good to have it in there because it grabs the attention, and once again for the right audience, this description meta tag will do the job. Again, we can look at some bad examples. The first one, again, there's some text there, some coding, but if you look at the last two pairs of quotes, there's nothing in between the quotes. The quotes are right up against each other, which means the designer or the owner or whoever is responsible didn't put any text in there. Second one is a good old welcome to our home page, or welcome to my website, or company XYZ. Even the third example is a specific one about an academic conference. Now it's got the 2012 in there, it's got the name of the conference, abbreviated IC dash in info. But the other words are fairly general: international, conference, on. Those three words don't really say anything. One should rather have replaced that with some descriptive words about what kind of talks would you expect at this conference. Where is the conference? Which city in the world is it? That'll help people read the text and decide whether or not they should carry on to this website. Finally, let's summarize the meta tags. Firstly, it's optional. You don't have to have it, but if you omit it, you're missing the opportunity to make your website content clear to the world. It's fairly simple to create. It's not a technical issue. One can get the website designers and the coders to make sure that the meta tags are put in the right place, but one should possibly ask for help by, for example, going to your competitor websites and see what their meta tags are. You should be able to pick out the bad ones, ignore them, and rather use the good ones. Of course, combine that with your own content and what you're trying to say with your meta tags, and if necessary, even get the services of a copywriter to make sure that your tags are well written. Finally, again, the two audiences. Write the meta tags in such a way that they please the crawler audience, which means lots of keywords towards the beginning, not excessive repetition. And finally, to please the human audience, because remember, the human beings are going to read your meta tags if it appears on a search engine result screen. Also, the title tag, for example, appears in the top of the browser window when you're on that page. And if you try to save a page as a favorite, for example, it'll take the title tag as being the default name of the favorite. You can obviously change that. Then finally, just a word on the length. I've done some research on what is the typical length in terms of characters or words that is being displayed by the search engines in search engine results. And for title tags, it seems to hover around 62 characters, which is 10 to 11 words, which is about a sentence. So in 11 words, you can only fit in 11 words. So you have to, again, sit down and spend time to make sure the sentence is constructed well and that all the important words appear in the first 11 words approximately. The others are not displayed, but the crawlers can see them, but they are suppressed. You normally find the ellipses at the end of the first X number of characters. And for the description meta tag, the length seems to be about 165 characters. Normally followed by the ellipses, and the rest are being suppressed. So again, you've got a bit more, typically about 27 to 29 words to write your description meta tag, which is visible to the eye and of course to the crawler. The rest the users will not see. So as always, consider the two audiences and write your meta tags to please both.